What up, Rotters? You know who it is. You know what time it is. Your boy Savage, aka Sev Cisneros. You tune in to Sev Lokes Hood Tales 2.0. Like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell. Let's get to the politic. Big shout out to everybody showing the channel love. I appreciate the love and support. Thank you for the interactions. Before I start this video, let me make this clear. I am no way means promoting gang culture or the gang banging life to anybody. I'm just telling a testimony, giving some life experiences, and shining a light on the Denver Metro. And in the process, hopefully I can definitely open up somebody's eyes if they're going down that road. With that being said, let's get to this video. So there's been a lot of light being shined on Denver Metro right now. Hood Vlogs, there's like 4 different channels that has come out here from California, Hood Vlogs, to some fools from Phoenix, to a fool from Oakland, and they go around and do all these interviews with the trenches of different cities and states. And they've been coming out here pretty tough. In the last month, you see a lot of interviews with different neighborhoods. They did one in the east side, Park Hill, Montbello, Colorado Springs, different things, bro. And they're shining light on the Denver Metro. And in the comment sections, there's a lot of talk going on, like, I never knew Denver was like that. There's a lot of talk that them fools really get down. Shout out to Denver. And then you have a lot of fools that are like, I can't believe it. It's a mountain city. So there's a lot of conversation about the Denver Metro. Big shout out to the Hood Vlogs. My only recommendation is don't be so biased. Go to the west side of Denver. Go to the north side, the south. There's a lot of history. Tap in with the host city. I see you do. Right now, I see you done a lot of the more gangs on the east side, and there's a lot of history. West side, north side, south, like even Thorin, there's a lot of history. So tap in with them. But big shout out to you fools for coming to the trenches out here and showing Denver love for sure. So there was a conversation in this comment section, and from the homie, his name's Tretch97, and me and him were having a conversation, and he's a cool dude, and he asked me, he said, is there any parts of Denver Metro that you kind of have to be wary if you're coming from another city, another state, and what are the areas? And I'm going to be 100% truthful. If you're a transplant or a visitor and you're just passing through, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Ain't nobody going to look at you and just automatically press you. You don't have no history. You're not a threat to nobody out here. So to everybody out here that's politicking, you're a nobody. They're not going to get stripes off of you. You ain't going to just come out here and fools are just going to run up on you. Where you from? Like, that's just not how it works. Usually people that are in that lifestyle really tripping is fools that have personal beefs out here, are in the politics. Everybody knows who their enemies are. But for a transplant, a visitor, or somebody that just moved out here, you ain't gonna have problems at all, bro. Just mind your own business. Stay out of politicking, any hood aspect, and you'll be cool. The only people that ever get caught up or get killed out here from other cities and states is when they start chilling with certain hoods, or they start chilling with fools that are up to no good. You take on the domino effect of that hood. If they're beefing with another hood, you gonna get the domino effect off top, because they're gonna say guilty by association, or they're just gonna see you as one of them. But for the most part, you're good. I know people that died out here for messing with the wrong people, people that got stretched, doing years in their prison yards on them compounds for messing with the wrong people. So just stay in your lane and stay out of the politics, and you'll be good. So in this video, I kind of want to do a ratio of like different parts of the city. And I know some people are going to be like, you didn't mention my city, but these are cities that I kind of got experience in. Being from a certain neighborhood out here, kind of got, some history in all these areas, and I seen with my own eyes. So I'm giving you experiences from me, and we gonna tap in. So let's start off in Montbello, the far east. I ain't really spent a lot of time out there, but when I was out there, there was quite a bit of situations that popped off in Montbello, um, especially with the Sureños, the Longos out there. There was a big handful of Sureños out there. You always heard about Montbello having gang politics. That's the Denver Metro, don't get me wrong, but they got their own politics. They got their own hoods out there. And you always heard Montbello, for the most part, in the early 90s, was the Cowlos. They, it was all cribbed down. Over the years, they got Bloods that came over there, and they got Sureños. So when I was out there, and I stayed, for some months because my family lived out there, we got into it with fools out there. And yes, they were activated in Montbello by Falcon Park. I remember the first aspect was the fool, Felix. He gets smoked at the party in Montbello in the basement. They run up in the basement and start shooting. He gets killed. I remember the little fool at Montbello High School gets stabbed. I could remember getting into it with the Sureños over there and fighting in the middle of the street. I haven't been over there in a long time, but I still hear that it's still activated. You still hear about shootings. So, in my opinion, by Falcon Park in the old Montbello, the ratio for activities is about 8.5, 9. They got their own politics and they get it in. I know Hood Vlogs went to Montbello. Those were probably not the dudes you wanted to interview. There's some legends that you should have got involved with and talked to. Let's go to Aurora. Aurora has a lot of history now, and it's always had history, but I could remember back in the day, Aurora, I remember them fools used to break dance, bro, and they used to be dancers, and them fools used to I remember seeing a lot of Aurora fools, they had their swag, bro. They were all about, there's a lot of pretty boys from Aurora, pretty boy black fools, and, they had the Oreo jackets and the Pepsi jackets and, Timberlands. So they had their own style. And after they started kicking fools out of the Denver Metro, they started kicking a lot of fools to Aurora. And Aurora became the new Denver. Aurora became gangbanging central because Aurora, everybody neighborhood is over there. They started calling Aurora Rack. Fools were getting chipped off left and right. I would have to say, to be honest, Aurora right now is probably the most activated area in the Denver Metro. That's just my opinion, because these last 2 summers, bro, there's been so many fools that done got chipped off, died. My brother, not to put my business out there, he just actually he just got shot in Aurora by the Jolliettes. And if you know the Jolliettes, it's famous in Aurora to have a lot of gangbanging. They shot my baby bro and left him in an alley. He survived, but, he almost died right there. Shot him 4 times. So the Jolliettes, that area, all the way to Yosemite and Colfax and all that, activated. And I would have to say the ratio is probably almost a 10 all the way. You go over there messing with the wrong individuals, you definitely gonna get pressed. You're gonna see gang banging. Keep your nose out of stuff over there. That's not an area to just go chill. Now Aurora's big, but that's the old Aurora, so the ratio is almost a whole 10. Let's go to Park Hill. Park Hill, a lot of history between my neighborhood and Park Hill. The east side and Park Hill activated. They had stuff unlocked over there on there. They burned down the Hawley supermarket, but that was a headquarters. You look at, the documentary, you'll see a lot of history. And if you go over there, they're still over there. The bricks, I don't know their projects, but, they are activated where they secure their block. And if you're not from over there, they're very territorial. Park Hill, the ratio, I would have to say it's a 9.5 also. Park Hill fools secure their blocks, so that's Park Hill. Now let's go on the other side of Colorado Boulevard. Now at one time, where we're going, my neighborhood, the 5 Points, the east side, was actually probably considered the most dangerous area in the Denver Metro. Fools did not go to the 5 Points, the east side, if you weren't from over there. didn't like outsiders. I'm from Arapahoe Court Projects, and we used to bring guests over there. And if they were males, fools on the block that we lived would actually run up on the car, seeing who was in the car. I could remember being young, bro, and not being able to play past 7 o'clock in the front yard because fools somehow migrated over there and liked to shoot up the block. And we had houses where there was families that had beef with these fools, and they would always be in some stuff. So you always had to be wary who was coming down the block. My block alone, the murder corner, had in the summer of violences, had killed a lot of people off in the projects right there on Med Store. It was wild. At that time, the 5 Points was probably 11 out of 10. It was that activated. They cleaned up the whole 5 Points, the whole east side. They don't even really call it the 5 Points no more. They call it the Rhino District. And there's a lot of people transplants that they moved over there because there was a lot of nice houses. And they made it more safe. It's a good thing they made it safe, but at the same time, they kicked a lot of the residents out and moved them to Aurora. Now, is there still a sketchy part of the east side? There's one street that you still have to be on your toes, because of the simple fact is, bro, Bruce Randolph, from Downing and Bruce Randolph all the way to Colorado Boulevard, that area still has a lot of people that have houses over there that they still live in. A lot of the youngsters that be from that area, they still go over there, visit their families. So summer times can get active on Bruce Randolph. You got on one side, the left side of Bruce Randolph, that was Oddieville, where all the Oddies were. And, that's where a lot of their family lives. On the right side, going more towards Colfax, you have all the Crips. So that's a big street that everybody drives down. And you still can run into enemies, people that don't like each other. A couple weeks ago, there's a little kickback spot over there, a bar or whatever, and fools hit the block and shot up the bar, so it still goes down over there. So I would have to give that a 9 ratio, almost a 9. When it hits the summertime, it still can get active. So that's east of downtown. Now we're going to move